What's good, YouTube? Freelance Speaks back for another video. This here video was a portion of the Rich Eisen show, which featured as a guest the four-time WNBA champion, 13-time WNBA All-Star, and five-time first-team All WNBA retired star Sue Bird, who was asked some questions about Caitlin Clark and her introduction to the WNBA and the start of her career. And I decided to go with this because you see me, the last video I made that I ended up deleting, I kind of went in really, really aggressively and hard on Caitlin Clark fans. Not Caitlin Clark, because as a person who's watched sports and has played them, I understand transitions from one level to another and how they are expected to take time, and how especially teams that were bad, when you add new pieces, can take time. I've always had that understanding, but new fans see things differently. So, but one of the narratives that's out being put out there, which to me is part of the excuse train, that people who have had unrealistic expectations have, is that older players and all the players that are there are jealous of Caitlin Clark. Actually, so much so her teammates are jealous of her. These are the types of charges levied against everything around her. And Sue Bird here, I just mentioned her resume, who has absolutely no reason to feel any jealousy or anything like that, but actually will be proud of anything that adds to growing the game. She speaks on it, and I was just going to chime in.
Drafted onto, but I'll just throw that in your direction. What have you seen over the first couple of games for her, Sue?
Yeah, not the best start. I'm sure she's feeling that right now. But that's part of adjusting to the WNBA, right? Maybe not having it happen this early, but part of professional sports is you're going to have some stretches that don't go your way. You're going to shoot bad. Your team's going to lose. And how do you respond to that? So I'm sure she would like those 2 games back. Everybody's clearly got their defensive game plan built around her, which is a compliment. But you got to figure it out from there.
Well, I mean, when you first arrived...
You see, that's a basketball player. And more likely Caitlin has that mentality as well. Look, this is what it is. Gotta adjust. No talk about, they need to change the rules. Don't allow them to really, stick her. The coach, no, it's basketball. Figure it out.
On the scene up in Seattle, what were you facing coming out of UConn, for having lost only 4 games in college, Sue?
Yeah. Getting used to losing. I remember the first game we lost, first game of the season. We actually played the New York Liberty, and they had Teresa Weatherspoon and Becky Hammon at the time. We lost to them, and I'm in the locker room having a little bit of a fit, right? A little bit of a tantrum. I'm not used to this. And everybody's like, oh, where you guys want to go to dinner tonight? And it took me a second to understand that was also part of pro sports. You got to kind of bob and weave and deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Caitlin Clark check out of last night's game, I think for the final time. She looked pissed, Sue. She looked livid. Like she was like just barely slapping the hands of her coach and teammates. She looked really angry last night.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Let's not forget that she probably has arguably the most pressure that any, women's basketball player has ever had coming into the WNBA. I mean, sometimes it feels like the weight of the WNBA is on her shoulders.
The weight is on her shoulders because of you people that I'm talking to, you fans, as well as the media, sponsorships. Once they start giving you money, the weight is on. That's all that is.
That is both, like I said earlier, a compliment and warranted in a lot of ways, but also maybe a little bit unfair to put so much on her, and then to not play up to her abilities in this early part would be frustrating. The thing is, you watch the games, she's not even really getting that many great looks. Again, some of that is the other team's defense. So credit, she's played 2 of the top defensive teams in the league. But some of that is figuring it out. And it takes time too, right? Like we see it in every sport. A lot of times you have these teams put together and people want to see it click right away. It always takes time.
Do you think the commentary is infused with a disrespectful tone, talking about how good the opponents are that she's faced over the first two games, Sue? Like, you know, this is a professional sports league that's been around 28 years. There are some really great professionals playing in it. I'm wondering how you take that part of the conversation here.
That's definitely been the conversation. You know, there's been a couple of moments that have led to the narrative around, you know, Caitlin's greatness and it translating. And there's been some people that have, you know, basically put her at the top of the mountain right away. And I think that does feel disrespectful to current WNBA players. But at the end of the day, I mean, sometimes these conversations are good for sports. Like you want people going back and forth, even though it can be hard for the athlete at times. I think it is good long-term for the sport. But now everybody's saying the WNBA is obviously a legitimate professional league. I don't know what people expected. You know, Diana kind of touched on this. It's basically, it's the adult grown woman part of this. People, you know, have been playing this game for a long time.
Yeah, and she took a...
Facts. Many of Caitlin Clark's fans, very, very disrespectful and insufferable. I can't stand you. Many of you, not all the fans, but the fanboys who don't accept reality, won't acknowledge that it's just tough. You know, y'all want less defense. Y'all want the games rigged, essentially. You won't say the word, but you kind of want, hey, look, if y'all want us to keep watching, we suggest you allow Caitlin to be Caitlin. You know that. Like, y'all not really about sports. Y'all casuals. You need to go take your little popcorn and coffee and go do something else. Because that isn't what sports is about. Sports is about struggling, overcoming, finding bumps in the road, overcoming. That's what the beauty of sports is. That's the story of sports. If you watch even sports movies that they made, there's always the hero, the team, you know, is always in a bad spot. Coach comes in, you know, inspire. Then they're always faced with a challenge and they overcome. That's what makes it beauty. That's the beauty of it. It's rare, you know, someone comes in and just dazzles and bedazzles. I don't know why y'all thought this was just a bunch of bums and only this lady can play. No, there's a lot of women that can dribble, step back and shoot a three-pointer. There's a lot of women that can make fancy passes. Now, I do believe Caitlin Clark is the number one pick for a reason. But we got to be realistic. There's an adjustment period. And if you're a real fan, believe in her. Believe in her. Don't call for changes to the rules. Don't call for different coaches. You know, don't worry about the fact that she didn't play point guard in the second game. She'll be the point guard. Don't even worry about that because she'll shine through. She'll show that she should be the point guard. That'll happen. But the coach probably took the ball out of her hands because she turned the goddamn ball over 10 times in the first game. Right? So those are the things, little things coaches might do here and there. You know, but don't worry. She'll be the point guard. Just come on.
A lot of heat. You're talking to Diana Taurasi. By the way, your mega cast, the two of you together, a lot of fun, Sue. By the way, for that, you're very welcome. She took a lot of heat for saying reality is coming, and kind of proven correct over the first two games. Again, this is it's a long league where marathon.
See, Diana is one of them hard people. She gonna give it. She's a straight shooter. I'm gonna give it to you straight. You know what I mean? She ain't time to be hating on nobody. She ain't thinking about all that. It's like, listen, I see what you're doing. You got to understand, they played in college too. All of them were the best in college too. You know, like the Brianna Stewart. She went to the NCAA finals 4 times. You know what I mean? But for some reason, just Caitlin Clark got the attention. You know, you watch Brianna Stewart, she's just as entertaining. If you watch that game against the Fever, like, that's not entertaining to you, I don't know what is. only watching 3-point shots and step backs. That's it. No, it was a perfect storm for Caitlin Clark. She just came at the right time with the right attention and the right situation. Mocked by Angel Reese, I'm telling you, which propelled it all. And then last year, it just went crazy. It was just a perfect storm of a number of things. And overall, it's good for the WNBA.
We're not sprinting, but I think she's kind of been proven correct.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the sad thing was just how it all played out, right? Having to have WNBA players, myself as a former one, Diana as a current one, and a lot of others being pitted against Caitlin. I thought that was really unfortunate because that's not the reality. Nobody was questioning Caitlin's ability. Nobody was questioning Caitlin's popularity, what she's done for the sport. How could you? I think at the end of the day, it's just competitive athletes talking about what they've already been through. So that was kind of the unfortunate part of it. I don't think that, saying a college player is going to have to adjust to a professional league is that crazy, but it led.
Exactly. That's not crazy. Those who know hoops know. And all y'all coming in my comment section talking about, hoops and all of that, but really you just a fanboy? You need to listen, man.
To this conversation. And again, at the end of the day, the proof was always going to be in the pudding. There was just like that 3 weeks of agony where we had to kind of wait from when the college season ended to the start of the WNBA.
Facts. Now she talking a little bit ish right now. Like the proof going to be in the pudding, which is what I said anyways. In sports, it's all settled on that court. And it ain't settled on Twitter. It ain't settled on YouTube. It's settled in the court.
All had to wait, and all you could do was talk. And the narratives that got thrown around, like I said, I think it was really unfortunate. Especially for someone like Caitlin. Like, who wants to hear that these WNBA greats are saying this about her when that wasn't even really what was happening? It was just competition.
Right. She's also not. She's not showing up disrespectfully in her own right. Right. I mean, like, she's not pounding her chest, and she's not, saying, yeah. Hope you enjoy.
Well, no, Caitlin is cool. Caitlin has the right attitude. It's y'all fans, man. Y'all fanboys. Y'all weird, man. Y'all really weird wanting the WNBA to change their whole style of play for her, bro. They D'ing everybody up. You think she's getting defenses nobody's getting. You know why? You only see that because you don't see the game. You only see Caitlin because you got Caitlin blinders on. You're wearing Caitlin socks. You're probably going to bed with Caitlin covered sheets. You probably got on a pair of Caitlin drawers. Probably drinking out of a Caitlin Clark cup. That's the problem with y'all. Y'all not seeing the whole game. They defending everybody. She just got to adjust, get her weight up. It's like if you go to prison, if you're a baller on the street, you go to jail. And you play basketball with them dudes. And then they play a whole different way. There ain't no rules. We just rough house. Either you learn to play rough house or you just be a bum. It's one or the other. And it's similar to that with Kayla. She just got to learn how they play. And I think she will. Like, you just got to look at it. Sue Bird was a beast out there. And Sue Bird had less physical talent, in my opinion, than Caitlin. Sue Bird was all brain and shooting. Caitlin Clark is 6 feet tall. That's tall for a woman. So those are some physical attributes. Sue Bird was 5'9". And she is 4-time champion. 5-time All-NBA first team. 13-time NBA All-Star. And along with a whole host of other accolades that she has.
Your new flights, and look at the planes you all have. Like, she, you know what I mean? Like, she's not saying that, right?
No, not at all.
No, that's the punk ass fans that's saying that. Y'all need to enjoy your flights because of Caitlin. Y'all need to enjoy your songs because of Caitlin. Like I said, they wearing Caitlin colored drawers and they drink out of Caitlin Clark cups. You know what I mean? They probably have Caitlin Clark feast. You know what I mean? On the posters on their wall.
You can't say enough about how she's handled all this. It's incredible. And again, I think the unfortunate part was it was going to all what? whether Diana was right or the quote unquote new fans we keep hearing about all the time, whether they were right. It was all going to what? Fall on this kid in her home opener. So it all got, trumped up. It got bigger than it was. But here we are, and now we get to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And Breonna Stewart even said last night after the game that she loved playing of packed house, full playoff atmosphere, which I imagine probably would not have happened in Indiana had they not, drafted Caitlin Clark, right? Like coming off of an awful year like that, it wouldn't have been a packed house, is what I'm essentially saying. So.
No.
Super here on the Rich Eisen show. So let's talk about the rest of the league here.
All right, that's pretty much what I wanted to do with, man. Just, these players, they're not hating on her. They wanted the best for her, but they're players, man. All they care about is the game. They don't care about all that other stuff, man. You know what I mean? That's for PR people. That's for people that are just, that's pretty much it, man. Peace out.